discovery yesterday at Davis Mortuary. On Wednesday, August 20th, 2025, inspectors from the Office of Funeral and Mortuary Science Services within my division conducted an annual inspection of Davis Mortuary. This inspection was conducted per the division's increased inspection authority and new requirement to conduct routine periodic inspections that was passed in House Bill 24-1335 in the last legislative session. This was the first annual inspection of this facility. As a result of the inspection, the division issued a summary suspension to Davis Mortuary. Because of the suspension, the facility cannot legally operate in Colorado. The suspension order is posted on the division's website for the public to see. The suspension order is based on reasonable suspicion that Davis Mortuary has violated the Colorado Mortuary Science Code by 1, engaging in willfully dishonest conduct or committing negligence in the practice of embalming, funeral directing, or providing for final disposition that defrauds or causes injury or is likely to defraud or cause injury. 2, failing to embalm, refrigerate, cremate, bury, or entomb human remains within 24 hours after taking custody of those remains. And 3, taking custody of more human remains than the funeral establishment has capacity to refrigerate unless the funeral establishment maintains custody of those remains for less than 24 hours. After making these discoveries, the division contacted the Pueblo Police Department, Pueblo County Sheriff, and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and is fully cooperating with the investigation. We are grateful to all the partners working on this investigation and for their quick response. For clarity, funeral home and crematory businesses are required to be registered in Colorado and are subject to inspection. Individuals working within the funeral industry are not currently required to hold a license. This requirement will begin in January of 2027 per recent legislation. Senate Bill 24173 to be specific. While individuals are able to voluntarily apply for licensure at this time, no one from Davis Mortuary had done so, and no one from Davis Mortuary held an individual license to practice. We're grateful for the Colorado General Assembly for passing the increased inspection authority that allowed us to complete this inspection and detect this issue. While this discovery is tragic, it shows that the new legislative effort is working, and we will continue to support the efforts to locate problems within this industry and those others that we regulate. I want to reiterate our support for loved ones impacted by these events, and through the investigation, I'm hopeful that we can provide some information to them over time. And I'll turn it over to Director Saldate from CBI.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for your partnership and help with this. My name is Armando Saldate III. It is spelled A-R-M-A-N-D-O. Last name is S-A-L-D-A-T-E. I am the CBI Director. Thank you for all being here today. I'm here to speak about a deeply disturbing and tragic situation involving the Davis Mortuary here in Pueblo. This is a day no one wants to see. We have received credible information that Davis Mortuary has been improperly storing human remains for years. This is a profound violation of trust and a heartbreaking betrayal of the families who entrusted their loved ones to this funeral home. I want to express my deepest and most sincere condolences to the families and loved ones of the deceased, whose remains have been so terribly disrespected. We know you are grieving, and this news only compounds your pain. We are committed to getting you the answers you deserve. I can confirm that the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, in partnership with our local law enforcement partners here in Pueblo, our county law enforcement partners, have launched a full-scale investigation into Davis Mortuary. In fact, we were first notified of this incident. I received notification from Executive Director of DORA, Patty Salazar, and Division Director Sam Delmar yesterday afternoon. As soon as we received that notification, received that preliminary information, me and my Deputy Director, Dan Bowles, and contacted our team down here in Pueblo and those of you may know, we have quite a good footprint of investigators here in Pueblo that do exceptional work. These were some of the same investigators that were involved in the return to nature funeral home case that you are likely familiar with. As we speak, those investigators are on the premises executing search warrants to collect evidence and document the full scope of this tragedy. They are assisted, thankfully, by hazmat operators from the Colorado State Patrol. I'd like to thank Colonel Matt Packard. He immediately answered our call to assist. As you can only imagine, the situation of decomposing bodies in various states, we're getting an assessment in this entry with our investigators and hazmat operators to really see what does that entry look like and how do we process this scene. We know that you want answers and you want them now. I understand that urgency completely. However, this is a complex and painstaking process. We are at the very beginning of a thorough, methodical investigation. Our top priorities are to respectfully and humanely process the scene, identify all the deceased, and notify their families and loved ones. This will take some time, unfortunately. The good news, as I said, is we have some experience in this. The same investigators we have at the scene, some of the experts that worked on the return to nature funeral home are here in this room and have been assisting us since we first received the news from the inspection results of yesterday. We have the necessary experience to handle this type of investigation and the sensitivity and thoroughness it requires. We have a team of highly trained professionals, including the forensic experts, who will be working tirelessly to bring this investigation to a just and complete conclusion. We're informed from the experience that we learned and the experiences we learned and lessons learned during the return to nature funeral home case. We're using those lessons learned in some of those methods, and we're exploring all our options to make sure we have the necessary resources to bring justice and some resolution to this case and answers to victims' families. I'd like to mention that the Colorado Department of Public Safety, Executive Director Stan Hilke, the Governor's Office, Governor Polis, the DORA, everyone back in Denver, they are offering their full support in giving us the necessary resources to address this. Today, Pueblo Sheriff enacting their Emergency Operations Center to bring us all together and to start organizing our efforts have really been helpful, and we're looking to explore further options there to bring every resource to bear to try to get results quickly. Please know that we'll be working as quickly as we can while ensuring we do not compromise the integrity of the investigation. We'll provide updates as soon as we have information that we can responsibly share. I'd also like to mention the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They helped in the return to nature case. They were a significant partner. As we assess the scene, I've spoken to the Special Agent in Charge, Mark Mikulek of the Denver office. They've offered all the resources and have already been meeting with our investigators. In fact, their lead investigator, their special agent that helped in the return to nature case, was also at our briefings this morning and throughout the day. I want to share a TIPS phone number and email for anyone who may have information about this case. This is especially for victims and loved ones, and I know you've been calling, and you've been calling to find answers. Hopefully the number that you'll see on the screen behind me, 719-257-3359. Again, 719-257-3359, or alternatively an email, cbitips@state.co.us. Again, cbitips@state.co.us. If you or your loved ones have been utilized this funeral home, if you're wondering about your remains and how that was processed, that would be the number to call. We have victims assistants, victim specialists that are staffing those lines that will be working with our investigators. Please allow for some time. Right now our priority is on the scene, trying to get some answers, trying to start the body identification, but we will be working closely with that and we've been offered assistance here from Pueblo County officials, the Sheriff's Office, the Police Department, as well as our own Victim Assistance Program at CBI. So I will now pass it on, Rob. Who do we have here? Sheriff Lucero, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Director. Good afternoon. David Lucero, the Pueblo County Sheriff. First and foremost, I wanted to share, this is rocking our community. There's many lives that are affected here, and certainly our thoughts go out and our prayers go out to those that are going to be affected as we continue to process this and it continues to unfold. The Pueblo County Sheriff's Office, the Pueblo Police Department will be a support role in this investigation with CBI, as the Director mentioned. But I have been in contact with the Mayor's Office as well as the Board of County Commissioners and received full support to support the efforts that CBI will need as this continues to the days, the months, the timeline that it will take for proper identification and proper processing. Again, I wanted to thank our partners that are here in this room. Thanks the media for being here and covering this story for us. And again, I just encourage that tip line that's displayed behind me. If people have information or want to reach out, that would be the best way to get a hold of us. So I'll turn it over to District Attorney Kayla Beauvais to speak about her office's role.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Kayla Beauvais, and I'm Pueblo County's District Attorney. I want to take a moment to assure the community that we are taking this matter with the seriousness that it deserves. We understand the importance of the trust within the system and that it is earned through action and accountability. This will undoubtedly be an emotional journey for families affected, and our hearts go out to them. We will work to ensure that they have guidance and are treated with fairness, respect, and dignity throughout this process. This investigation will be conducted collaboratively, thoroughly, and professionally. And as you can see, we have multiple agencies with CBI taking the lead, all working through this investigation. Similar to what they've said, this process will not be rushed. It's going to be long, it's going to be tedious, and it's going to be thorough. So I ask for your patience as we move forward, as difficult as that's going to be. No formal charges have been filed at this time. This is an active investigation that's in its early stages, and charges will be reviewed by my office once the investigation is completed. Until then, we will keep you informed as appropriate while maintaining the integrity of the investigation. Similar to what Mr. Saldate said, there's going to be a lot of things that we can't answer for you because it's an open investigation that we don't want to give out information when it's not proper to. So please utilize that tip line, and we hope to be able to help the victims as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, District Attorney Beauvais. Media, if you want to raise your hands, we've got about 5 minutes for questions, and I'll try and determine who might be best situated.
So obviously we have the phone number and the email for victims reaching out. We know from the DOR report that some of these remains were there for the last 15 years. Is there a message for the community, people who maybe use Davis Mortuary, should they just assume if they were within that 15-year timeline that they could be impacted? Or can you give us an idea, are we talking dozens of bodies, hundreds? What is the scope of this?
Sam, I think you can address the scope and what you were told, how far back this may go. Can you join us real quick for that?
Sure. Thank you. So yes, when we made contact with the folks in the funeral home, they made statements that indicated that they believed that the bodies ranged around 20 or so. The investigators did not make entry into the room where the bodies were specifically stored. They were able to see them from the doorway. In order to really assess how many were in the room, they would have had to have started moving them around, which is not what we wanted them to be doing. The statements that were made to our inspectors at the time was that they believed the bodies could be as old as 15 years. So those were based on statements, not on anything that's been investigated at this point.
And you had mentioned that this inspection was done as a result of this change in state law. When was the last inspection before this annual inspection?
So there was no requirement for inspections prior to last year. The division obtained the authority in statute to do inspections in 2022. But those inspections originally were only based upon complaints received, and this facility has not received any complaints. So the legislation that was passed last year provided my office, me specifically, the authority to conduct routine inspections, and I've established in rule that those inspections will take place at least once per year. And this was the first inspection that we've done at this facility.
And I just want to clarify something that was in the DORA report. It said that the license for Davis as a crematorium had expired in 2024. Is DORA aware of them conducting crematory services within the last or so?
No, we're not aware that they've conducted any crematory services past the expiration of their license. In fact, the statements that they made to the inspectors was that they've not actually done any cremations at that facility in, I want to say, at least 10 years, even though the license was active until November of 2024 for the crematory. And to be clear, the crematory and the funeral home license are separate, and the funeral home license was and continued to be active up until it was suspended yesterday.
Want to let someone else jump in with some questions? Here in the orange, please.
Oh, yes, so I just wanted to inquire as to, he's obviously our elected county coroner, and I was just curious about his status in that role, in light of this investigation.
Armando, do you want to address that?
Yeah, so that's something that we're exploring right now. He is currently still the coroner right now. We are exploring through legal means and statutory situation, trying to get advice on how we proceed. Obviously, we're going to need a coroner to process our scene and help us process the remains. We are working with other coroner resources right now, some of the same that worked on the return to nature case. But we are not at a position right now to comment further on that.
Mr. Cotter and his brother, do you know where they are? Has anyone interviewed them yet?
Sheriff Lucero, would you address that?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, we do know where Mr. Cotter is currently right now. What I can confirm is he's not under arrest. The scope and size is still to be determined, but as for his brother, I do not know where he is currently located.
And has he been questioned?
That's still in process. The investigation's in its early stages. And, you know, as we have an ID team that goes out and processes the scene, investigators from CBI, Pueblo County Sheriff's Office, Pueblo Police Department, will be divvying up some of those responsibilities and assisting where we can to make sure that those interviews are timely. We want to make sure that we have the best information before we conduct interviews. So.
And it's our understanding his brother is a co-owner. Is that accurate? And if so, is he under investigation as well?
I do believe he is listed as a co-owner of the establishment, and you know we're going to be looking at everybody that may be associated with this.
And you know where he is as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, I want to make clear, because you said you didn't know where the brother was. Are you looking for him? Is he outstanding? Is he on the run? Let's be really clear about where the two brothers are and what their status is. And have they been told, don't leave the state, don't leave the country?
Yeah, thank you for that, and I will provide clarification because, as I stated, we're still ramping up investigative resources on this. We do know where Mr. Brian Cotter is at this time, and like I stated, he's not under arrest. He's being looked at, as is his brother, for this investigation. As for them being told they can't leave the state or anything like that, that hasn't happened at this point, but we're hoping to get some of these answers very quickly.
Are you looking for the brother actively right now?
Director, did you want to address that?
Yes, so that is something we're tracking down. We're getting identification, we're getting their addresses, getting contact information. Right now our priority was really getting into the building. A lot of our investigative resources are there. In parallel, though, we are also trying to, as the sheriff indicated, trying to learn the information. We do know some information from both being present at the inspection yesterday and some statements they made. But we will definitely be following up in those interviews, having interviews with them and many others associated with the business.
Will the bodies be taken to another county, El Paso County or otherwise?
I can answer that. So that's what we are exploring now, and that's what happened in the case of the return to nature. So we are trying to replicate process where we can, where it makes sense, and that is the process we are trying to set up.
Get my over the black in the back.
Is there any indication the funeral home has been profiting from this situation, or is that still under investigation?
Armando?
Yes, that will be part of the investigation. So we are looking at all sorts of things around the information around how did they get in this situation, how did, how were people paid. That could be part of the victimization here, is that, people, they were profiting or something, but that's going to be explored. This is going to be a comprehensive investigation, and the financials will definitely be part of that.
Can we do one more question from the gentleman in the back left?
And that room, was it just a regular room or was it temperature controlled?
Sam?
Thank you for that. The room was just a regular room. There did appear to be a refrigeration unit in the room. We're not sure what the contents of that unit may be or whether or not it was functional.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Again, more information as it develops, we'll share as soon as we can. And we appreciate your patience as this investigation evolves. Thank you.